to episode 52 of the S&D Podcast Show on the Schmuck Sports Network. Steven here. Dan, how you doing this week?
Good. How's it going this week? Another awesome week of football. A lot of craziness that went on. I hope John Fox and Coach Kubiak get healthy soon. What else is going on? Hockey's been going on, full swing. The Rangers are playing red hot. The Islanders are playing They have their ups and downs like typical Islander fashion, but the Rangers finally are waking up and getting heat. So that we have our good friend AJ from Blue Line Station to come on.
Yes, after the technical difficulty.
Yeah, that was a big whoops last week. For some reason, our mixer wasn't working properly, so our whole interview went to shreds, unfortunately. But
we have a good one for you.
We have a good one. We're going to have AJ later talk about the Rangers, how they're playing so red hot. The Giants finally come back after a bye week. They get to play the Raiders this week. It should be a good game. The Jets have another big upset at home again. The Jets should just play the rest of the season at home.
No, they need to only play every other week. They only win. Only win odd weeks.
So that means the Jets are going to win next week, since they had the bye week.
We will talk about it, but then again, Rex Ryan did guarantee they will lose to the bye week.
Okay. Well,
he guaranteed it. They're losing to the bye week.
So that means it's going to be a crazy weekend. It's Rex's fault, and the world's coming to an end. But anyway, the Jets 100%. The Jets 100% earned that win on Sunday against the Saints.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. But first, we're going to go play some more Division 1.1 Animal, which is our song for tonight. Thanks to them for their music once again. Check us out on everything, of course, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, every place else that you know of to check us out on, and keep sharing us. Let's go play some more Division 1.1, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to the S&D Podcast. Dan here with Steve. We listen to Animal from Division 1.1. We're going to start off the week with a really happy recap of the New York Jets pulling out an unthinkable upset that obviously me and Steve both got wrong because neither of us just thought the Jets were going to find a way to beat the New Orleans Saints at the MetLife Stadium on Sunday. They won 26 to 20.
Does that make the Saints 0-2 at MetLife Stadium? Maybe? Sound about right?
No.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, last 2 years, yeah. So I forgot about last year against the Giants. Their best game last year. But anyway, let's talk about the Jets. The Jets played absolutely bonkers. Chris Ivory definitely gets the game ball. He against his old team, he rushed for 139 yards with 7.7 yards per carry. We know that the Saints defense isn't.
He gets the. What about Nick Foles?
Well, he gets it too.
Yeah, Foles. Yeah.
Nick Folk.
Yeah, Nick Foles.
Is
sorry.
The Eagles quarterback with 7 touchdowns. But yeah, Folk did kick a lot of butt, no pun intended. But Chris Ivory did set it up. I see what you did there. Yeah, but Ivory did set up all the scoring plays, and he actually scored touchdowns. So he definitely gets the game ball. The Jets played really well. They found ways to disrupt Drew Brees, and being in his passing lanes, you really rarely see Drew Brees look like a human, especially giving up back-to-back sacks every now and then. So the Jets' defensive front are just playing out of their minds right now. Wilkerson's definitely going to be making the Pro Bowl this year.
No doubt about it.
No doubt about it. He's just playing out of his skull right now, and it's great. It's refreshing to see the Jets' defense playing as good as they've been as of late.
I forgot who I heard say it, that this could arguably be the best Jet defensive line since the sack exchange.
Oh, definitely 100%. Not even close. Not even close. I could see. Yeah, I agree 100%. Jets defense have played just lights out this year. I know they let up 49 points 2 weeks ago against the Bengals, but for more points than not, the Jets defense have been there every single week.
Oh, yeah. I mean, coming off the week that we saw with the Bengals, we did not expect that at all.
And you got to give heads up. I'm sorry. You got to give heads up to. Got to give some props to D. Milner, who actually had a very crappy week the week before against the Bengals. He showed up and played his butt off.
And honestly, early in the game, it kind of looked like he was going to struggle again.
Yeah,
you saw early they went right at him.
He pulled it off, and he played really good. And that was really good to see for a first-round draft pick to play well against one of the arguably the top 3 quarterbacks in the game. So that's very refreshing to see for any Jet fan. Hopefully he built on that weekly, and he could become that shutdown corner that everybody hopes he can be.
Was a rough week though for Geno. 8 for 19, 115 yards.
Yeah, that's it. Just what happens when you're running the ball a lot and just ball sailing away and him rocketing balls where it should be with touch. It's a rookie process. They found a way to win. That's the bottom line.
This was his first cold game, and I've said this a couple times. Cold weather.
Yeah.
Has always hurt him.
Yes.
Is this be a sign of things to come in a cold weather? Like, what if it's 2-minute drill he's got to run? How is he going to run a 2-minute drill if this is how he's playing cold weather?
I think he'll get over it because he has no choice. He'll get over it. It's like how Sanchez was the last couple of years. He'll be fine. Obviously, Sanchez is from Southern California, so obviously he wasn't used to the weather, but he played decently well in it until last year.
Yeah.
He'll be fine. It's just one of those things. He played in West Virginia where there is cold, so this whole myth that Geno Smith can't play in the cold weather is kind of ludicrous to me.
Well, he gets his next cold test in 2 weeks when they go to Buffalo, because that week will be cold.
Oh, yeah, that definitely will be cold.
That may actually be oh, no, it's in Buffalo. I thought that was the Canada game. No, that game's in Buffalo. But it is going to be an odd week, which is interesting because even weeks the Jets have lost this year, and odd weeks the Jets have won this year. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens with the Jets. Basically, they need to do what the Giants said. Don't get hurt. Don't get arrested.
Oh yeah,
show up in one piece
they'll be peaceful. They'll enjoy their bye weeks away from the team facilities and everything like that. The Jets will win again. The Jets will take care of business because it's every other week, so they'll be able to win a game and take care of it. Against the Bills, they'll easily win. They'll definitely take that.
Speaking of Bills, by the way, got a nice number for you. We'll talk about Rodgers getting hurt later, of course. The Packers since '93 have had 3 starting quarterbacks: Favre, Rodgers, Flynn.
Yep.
The Bills and Browns this year have 3 starting quarterbacks in 9 games.
Oh, that's crazy. Another crazy stat about quarterbacks, if we're gonna play it, the last time the Kansas City Chiefs have won a game with a quarterback they've drafted was 1987, the year I was born.
That was the last time they won a game with a quarterback they drafted.
Yes.
When was the last time they drafted a quarterback?
It's been a very long time, but that's how crazy it is. It's crazy to even think that, but kudos to them. They're 9-0, which no one expected. Granted, their schedule is pretty light, but
I'll tell you what, they're on bye, and then they will have the biggest test of their season.
Yeah.
Their defense has been great, but let's see their defense.
It's a very clutch that they have 2 weeks to prepare for the Broncos. Yeah. It's like studying for your midterm, a very important midterm that you know that it's 50% of your grade kind of thing, kind of grade. That's what next weekend is going to be against the Broncos.
It'll be very interesting to see if they're ready for that.
Yeah.
That one is in Denver, I want to say. That one an Arrowhead or a Denver game?
That's the game that got flexed.
Yeah.
Let's see.
In Denver.
It is in Denver.
In Denver, they play in KC.
Right,
in
so that's going to be tough. It's obviously going to be a tough game, and let's see if their thing is Alex Smith is not going to be able to gunsling with Peyton Manning. So it's going to be interesting how the
Jamal
Chiefs
Charles gets 2 weeks to get healthy.
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to.
And how their Chiefs defense that has been number 1 all year. Is able to face the number 1 offense in the league.
Oh, no question about it. I'll tell you what, NBC's very happy that they flexed.
Of course. Thank God it was the first week
Seneca Wallace versus Eli.
Yikes. Let's switch gears with the Giants since they had the bye week last week. Nothing stupid happened, so great. Thank God for that.
I heard this on the Rich Eisen podcast, by the way, today. Giants are, 2-6?
Yes.
Okay. They were talking to Jason Witten on this week's Rich Eisen podcast. I don't know if you heard it yet. Who played in Week 17 for the NFC East last year?
The Redskins and Cowboys, and they both were under 500 at this point last year.
Dallas had 3 wins at this point in the season last year.
Yep.
3 wins.
So
anything can happen.
Honestly,
second half of the season, anything can happen.
I think that can happen. They could easily go 9-7. I could see them go 9-7, especially now with the injury to Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. They could easily.
You opened up a playoff spot, in my opinion. Because if Rodgers is out for the year.
Yeah, no, easily. As long as they don't pick up Vince Young or Matt Flynn. Wallace is okay, but he obviously no Aaron Rodgers, and that team has already taken a lot of blows with injuries with Randall Cobb.
Receivers, yeah.
The receiving corps has just been decimated.
I'll tell you what.
And Clay Matthews has been hurt all year. He should be coming back soon as well.
I'll tell you what about that team, though, Eddie Lacy.
Eddie Lacy, yeah.
Has looked a lot better each week.
Amazing. He's looked really good.
Every Packer fan I know said this is the best running game we've had since Ahmad Green.
Yeah. And
that was 10 years ago. Probably more than that. Probably a little bit more than that. Maybe a little less than that.
Yeah,
it definitely was like the 90s.
No, it was early 2000s. It was like 2005, 2006.
But also, it'll be very interesting Thanksgiving. This will be the first Thanksgiving since '93 that Rodgers or Favre won't be starting.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. But let's talk about the Raiders first this year. The Raiders are coming into MetLife Stadium.
Yikes! After what
a
they
10 o'clock start for their body clocks.
Mike is going to love it. Gets to wake up and watch the Raiders Giants.
Yeah, two teams he doesn't like. Honestly, though, the Giants should find a way to pull out the win. They've had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. Hopefully they score an offensive touchdown. They have to watch out for Terrell Pryor. He is what Rich Eisen actually commented on. He is the hybrid between Cam Newton's... No, not Cam Newton. No, yeah, Cam Newton and Colin Kaepernick's size with RG3 pre-knee surgery speed. And that's what's scary about Terrell Pryor. And the Giants are going to have a handful with him all game long, but he could be had like any other quarterback. And his receiving core has been decent for him this year, but they've been banged up a little bit this year. And Run DMC is actually hurt again. There's a shocker.
Yeah.
So the Giants might be getting off with a little bit of a lucky one right now, but don't expect the Giants to score 8 passing touchdowns this week because the Raiders secondary is going to be really mad.
I'll tell you what.
And they are a solid secondary 9 out of 10 times a week.
I said Eli's breaking the record for most interceptions in a game.
Hope not.
I hope not too, but this is that type of game.
Yeah.
Like those Viking games.
Let's hope not. We need a win. Get off the bye week. We start fresh. I see the Giants winning. I'm taking the Giants this week.
Raiders.
And Andre Brown comes back, so that might be helpful.
Yeah, the guy has somewhat of a little bit of speed.
So that's going to be nice with him and Peyton Hillis getting the running carries. So I'm excited to see that.
Raiders, Packers, Cowboys.
I hope
2-1, at least.
At least 2-1, but we got to go 3-0.
Yes. You know what scares me about the Packer game the most?
Is the Giants'
the lack of tape and how much...
The Giants' curse of playing against backup quarterbacks.
Yep.
It's always the curse.
You see it every year.
You see it every year. Guy. There's always that one guy. A couple years ago was Vince Young on the Eagles. It's just that's what always happens, but I think the Giants could easily be 3-0.
3-0 in the month of December. They could be.
Going into the month of December, which is great to see. Hopefully I'm right. We're right, but no worse than 2-1.
No worse than 2-1. Yeah, I can see that. And if anything, it'd be the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, they're winning this week.
What's the line? 7?
I'm not even sure.
The last time I looked, it was 7 points for the game this week.
All right, I'll take the Giants with 7 points.
You'll take the Giants on 7 points?
Yeah.
I'll get you the points in a second. By the way, you'll already probably listened to this, or you could check our Facebook. Our records, our picks will be up.
All right. Yeah, I had a rough week last week.
We're about even this year.
We're definitely about even this year.
I forgot the exact numbers, but we're about even. 7.5.
Okay.
So 8.
8. Yikes. If I was a gambling man, I might take the Raiders on this one. But it's
West
definitely
Coast team playing a 10 o'clock game.
Yeah, but the way the Giants have been playing, they're not blowing anybody out. So
yeah, but this could be that week that the offense says, "Hey." You know what I also said was that the Eagles were able to throw the ball against Oakland. That means the Giants are running the ball, right?
Yep, that's 100% what's going to happen.
Pound the ball. That's all we do.
Hey, see what happens. Hopefully Victor Cruz gets a couple balls this week.
Hey, you know what? They're going to come out expecting us to throw the ball, so let's run it.
Yeah.
Because after the way they played last week, you got to expect teams to come out and run the ball, throw the ball against them. So
honestly, I would love to see the game plan that we used against the Eagles actually score a touchdown this week. I would use the same exact game plan.
We're afraid of anything past the 10-yard line. We're petrified. At 10-yard, you get to that 10-yard line, and we stop, and that's it. We're petrified.
Yeah.
Can't move.
Honestly, I think the Giants will be fine this week. Let's talk a little hockey with AJ.
Yeah, but first we're going to play a little Division 1.1.
Of course.
So, Animal, Division 1.1, and we're going to be right back with AJ.
SND Podcast is in no way affiliated with, associated with, produced, or endorsed by the National Football League or any of its affiliates.
Back to the SND Podcast show on the Schmuck Sports Network, episode 52. Once again, that was Division 1.1 with Animal. After some technical difficulties last week, we'd like to welcome in this week AJ from BlueLineStation.com.
What's up? What's up, AJ? How's it going? Yeah, Steve, you did get it right. The Rangers are red hot. Actually, we are recording right after the Rangers beat the Pittsburgh Penguins 5-1.
Yep.
So, how amped up are you tonight, AJ?
Well, I mean, tonight I think it was a statement win by the Rangers. I mean, early on they looked. You saw Sidney Crosby. I don't know if you guys watched the game, but
yeah, I did.
Crosby came down the boards early, and then Lundqvist made a big stop. And then I think the first 10 minutes the Rangers looked a little flat, and Lundqvist had to keep them in the game. But I think after that the Rangers just dominated from there. I mean, and then those 2 goals late in the first period really helped, and then it really helped them towards their 5-1 win.
Of course. The Vezina Trophy finalists, as always, came through in the clutch tonight when they needed them the most, because the Rangers were very, like you said, very flat in the first couple of minutes.
Yeah.
And then all systems go. Who was your 3 stars of the game tonight? And the last 4 out of the 5 games, because the Rangers have won the 4 out of the last 5 games. What do you think? Propel them.
3 stars. I'm going to go from 3 to 1. I guess 3 I'll take Chris Kreider. After being called up from Hartford, he's looked really good. He's been playing some good hockey. And then second, I'm going to take Derek Brassard, who's improved his game over the last few games. And then first star, I'm going to have to go with Henrik Lundqvist. I mean, every night Lundqvist gives the Rangers a chance to win. And obviously when you have Lundqvist in that, I mean, anything can happen. And we saw it tonight against Pittsburgh. He really kept the Rangers in the game and pretty much got them the 2 points tonight.
Do you have a fear of playing Lundqvist so much, especially in an Olympic season?
I have a little bit of a nervousness about that because he's got to go to he's going to play for Sweden, obviously. So I think that with Cam Talbot as their backup, they have a suitable backup in Cam. So I think that Lundqvist will have more opportunities to get a rest with Talbot as their backup, and I think that will be important. As, like you said, Lundqvist has to go play in the Olympics for Sweden.
Especially for a guy who plays 40 games a year in the NHL.
Yeah.
Plus, then he's going to play every game in Russia.
Yeah.
Plus, then you want him to play in the playoffs.
And that's what's been so great for the Rangers, seeing how solid Cam Talbot's been when he's been called upon to the start of the games lately. He had a great game against the Islanders. He hasn't had a start since then, right? Off the top of my head, no. Right?
No.
Yeah, but when his number's been called upon, he's stepped up huge, and has kept the Rangers in every game he started. So that's great to see. Just in case they need to give Henrik a blow, it's really awesome. And like they're not missing Briron, where in the beginning of the year everybody was kind of skeptical about bringing up a rookie. But they're proving them. The Cam Talbot's actually proving everybody wrong. So that's pretty refreshing to see. Derek Stefan had a great game on Saturday night. He had a hat trick.
Yep.
Who the Rangers got this weekend, and what are you expecting to see in this outcome this weekend?
Well, the Rangers. Let me just pull up their schedule real quick. They have Columbus tomorrow. They have to fly out. I think. Actually, speaking of Talbot, I think that Talbot will get the start tomorrow.
Yeah, that definitely has a Talbot.
Might as well with the back-to-backs.
Yeah, that definitely has a Talbot game all over it.
Mm-hmm. And then, let me just pull it up really quick. Columbus tomorrow, then they have a break until Sunday. Then they play the Panthers Sunday night. I could see them winning tomorrow against Columbus. It's going to be tough because they got former Rangers, Brandon Dubinsky, Artem Anisimov, and Marian Gaborik especially. Yeah. And Sunday, I could see the Rangers winning that game at home, and then Tuesday night they have the Devils. And earlier in the season, we saw the Devils embarrass the Rangers 4-1. But I think the Rangers are much improved since that loss, and I think that the Rangers will take that game as well.
Is that the Garden or the Rock?
The Garden.
Okay.
Speaking of the Devils, there's been actually some rumors since ideally Corey Schneider is the number one there. What is your view? Would you, if you're Brodeur, would you waive your no trade clause?
I feel that if the Devils aren't going to be contenders, if I was Brodeur, I would. But in my own,
to a contender.
In my own opinion, I think that Brodeur at this point should just retire because he's had a great career, and I think that he should at least retire a Devil because of everything that he put in, of all the work that he put in for that organization.
I actually agree with AJ. There's no way in hell he's getting traded.
Well, it was on ESPN the other night. Barry Melrose was asked the same thing, and he said that he should waive the no-trade clause because the guy deserves to play, but we all know that the playing has gone down from him.
Yeah.
All right, back to the Rangers. Rangers are red hot right now. Do you see it keep staying that way for a while?
Yeah, I mean, with the like we talked about a little bit before with the schedule they got coming up, they have some very winnable games that can keep their confidence going. And then, but later in November, they got some tough games against. They have to go to Montreal, which is a place where they just can't seem to win. Then they got LA coming in. Then they got Boston. They have to play Tampa, who's red hot right now in the East. So after Florida and New Jersey, the Rangers have some tough games that are really going to be the measuring stick to see where this team's at.
Yeah, well, I absolutely agree. Their defense has finally stepped up. One of the best players of the night tonight was definitely Mark Stahl is looking more and more comfortable as the games are going on, especially with him getting used to the visor and everything like that, and being comfortable of being able to see as much as he could possibly see with the injury he had last season. So it's really great to see him step up. McDonough's definitely stepped up. Zato's same old. He'll have one good play, and then he'll have one good play, and he'll have three crappier plays.
Yeah.
It's just what it is with him. I think his ceiling is finally settled down. I don't know. I've never been a big Del Zotto fan.
Yeah.
Well, we had one of the writers from Blue Line Station last year. I don't know if that's Jared, who said the way he sees Del Zotto is he'll be good when he plays for another team.
Yeah.
What do you think of that, AJ?
He said Del Zotto would be good if he plays for another team.
No,
yeah.
when he
leaves.
Oh, when he leaves. I don't know. I mean, I could see him progressing here. I mean, especially under Alain Vigneault. I mean, he said it. I think it was yesterday or the day before. He said he wants more offense from the blue line, and I think Del Zotto has the potential for that. But I think a change in scenery could be good for him. But I can also see Del Zotto progressing in New York as well if Vigneault could just use him right.
I can see that as well. Speaking of guys moving and stuff, do you see the Rangers making any moves? If you were Glenn Taylor, would you be making any moves?
Well, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the Nail Yakupov rumor that was all over Twitter today and even yesterday. But
I don't see it being realistic though. Who would you give up realistically for that deal though?
Well, I mean, in my opinion, I don't think Sather should make any moves. But if Glenn was to make that move for Yakupov, I would definitely want to see Del Zotto go, and maybe they were also talking about Girardi and Stahl possibly going over to Edmonton, and I definitely don't want to see those two go. But I could potentially see Del Zotto and maybe JT Miller going over to the Oilers for Yakupov.
I can see that as well. It's very interesting to see that Edmonton is wanting to trade Yakupov.
Something must be going on behind the scenes for that to happen.
Yeah, and Edmonton also needs help on the blue line, especially. So, I mean, it makes sense, but I can't see it happening.
Neither can I. All right, around the league, what's going around in the league that everybody should be interested about and worried about?
Well, how about this? Before we go around the league, the Islanders made a move last week that we wanted to talk to him about.
Oh yes,
the Matt Molson, a first rounder, a protected first rounder this year, could be deferred to next year, the 2015, and they set in a second rounder in 2015 for Thomas Vanek of the Sabres. He recently got his first goal. He's played better as each game has progressed as an Islander. What is your opinion on that move?
I thought it was a reaction move after their 5-2 loss to Philadelphia by Garth Snow. He wanted to make a change, and obviously he did that. He traded away Matt Molson, who had that chemistry with John Tavares. But Vanek coming over, Vanek's got a little bit more size than Molson, and he can create more on offense. And I think over the past few games for the Islanders, we're starting to see the chemistry between Okposo, Tavares, and Vanek come together. They're starting to know where each other is going to be on the ice, and that's going to be very dangerous heading through the season.
Also, one thing with difference is that Vanek can actually skate.
Yeah.
Compared to Molson. He's actually played pretty well in Buffalo. I know he had 2 goals his first night there.
Yeah.
But not sure what he's been up to since. It'll be interesting to see if he can get the chemistry up there also like he had with JT. There was like an interesting stat of like something with like 300 minutes plus in the past like 4 years where he hasn't played with Tavares. And he has like 1 goal and 3 assists.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what Molson does without Tavares feeding him passes.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that. All right, around the league a little bit. First month's basically over.
Yep.
What's your biggest surprise right now?
Biggest surprise right now me, whole league, for me, it's out west with the Colorado Avalanche. They have a first-year coach in Patrick Waugh, and I really wasn't expecting them to do much. I mean, I knew that they had the potential, but they're just playing off the charts right now. They're 12-1 through 13 games. They have a 6-game winning streak. They're 1 point back of the conference lead. They're a point behind Anaheim. And I think that Patrick Waugh really brings the fire and emotion that Colorado was missing. And now that they have that, they're just a really good team.
All right. Second surprise.
Second surprise, I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Lightning back east. They're 10-4 through 14 games, and Steven Stamkos, Marty St. Louis. I mean, can't really bet against those two playing together.
It's true. Tampa's been a team that I had no idea. I completely did not expect it at all from them.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, nobody really talks about Tampa anymore because they were always, like, under the radar, but now that they're 10-4, I mean, they're going to start to come up a lot.
What's your opinion on this last year's Stanley Cup champions, Chicago Blackhawks?
Chicago Blackhawks? I think that they're doing good this year. They're 9-2-4 through 15 games. I don't think there's no Stanley Cup hangover there. Obviously, Jonathan Toews, Patrick Kane, Patrick Sharp, they have a loaded offense over there, and then Corey Crawford's a suitable goaltender for them. And I think I could see Chicago repeating this year, but I think that other teams in the West are just too strong, like Anaheim and Colorado and even San Jose.
How do you think Detroit's faring in the Eastern Conference this year so far?
I think they're handling themselves pretty well. I mean, 9-5-2. They're over 500, and it's going to be interesting to see when they play teams like Boston and Montreal and Pittsburgh and all that. It's going to be different to see because we were always used to Detroit being in the Western Conference.
And being able to play a little bit more wide open. Yeah, that's going to be very interesting to see when the games, like big games, like the big bullies of the Eastern Conference would go against them. It's going to be definitely going to be interesting to see with that. But I think they're good enough to find a way to pull it out, though.
Yeah, because play in the West is a lot different than the East.
All right, AJ. We're going to go top 3, starting with number 3, biggest disappointments of the first month. Teams or players?
Teams or players.
All right, number 3.
Number 3, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Sabres. Right now, worst team in the league, 3-13-1. Obviously, they're going through the rebuild stages, obviously with trading away Vanek to the Islanders, and they're just playing some horrible hockey right now. I mean, it's disappointing to see if you're obviously a Buffalo fan.
Alrighty, number 2.
Number 2, I'm going to go with the play of Jaromir Jagr. I mean, I know he's Well, how old is he? You think he's
50?
40?
60?
I mean,
He's
obviously
like 30 when I first started watching him.
he's a hardened veteran, but I think going to New Jersey was maybe the wrong move for him because that makes the Devils even slower than they already are.
Let's be realistic. He came to the Devils because he thought he was going to play with Kovalchuk.
Yeah, and then Kovalchuk
He came after.
got up left.
He was after Kovalchuk.
Oh, well.
He was the reason he signed because Kovalchuk left.
I didn't realize that.
They needed somebody to fill a spot and a seat. So he was the reason. I want him to be traded to the Islanders later in the year. Then he could pull the Aaron Ashton of the old Atlantic.
Who would you see from the Islanders going to New Jersey?
No.
Give him a late round draft pick. Give him like a 5th round draft pick for him.
It's pretty even.
Might as well. I mean, a washed up veteran guy like that. If
Yeah.
the Islanders, he'll just be a rental type player anyway.
Yeah, brings leadership to the locker room.
Right. And just imagine if Tavares learns just how to snipe like he does.
Yeah.
I mean, he's already a great player, Tavares, but if he learned how to just snipe the shots like Jágr, like there are plenty of times I've watched Jaromir Jágr just get to a blue line, and it's like you blink and the puck's in the net.
Yeah.
He was always one of the best at that.
Yep.
All right. Number one
disappointment, I'm going to go with out west, the Edmonton Oilers. They're 4-10-2. I think that they have the potential at offense. They have Taylor Hall, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, but they have to figure out their defense and goaltending first before they can become a perennial team. Because once they get their defense and goalie figured out, they could be a really dangerous team in this league.
I think a team that they should actually be watching is, you said before, Colorado.
Yeah.
Because look at Colorado. They got a goalie. Granted, he does bad things to his wife that we won't get into. But I think that if they just follow them and get a good goalie, they have Duchesne.
Yep.
Landeskog.
Mm-hmm.
Who's that kid that they drafted this year? McKinnon?
Yeah, it might have been McKinnon.
It was McKinnon, I believe. Who was having, I think it was like 4 points in the first couple of games, if I remember correctly. Not really sure what he's been up to since.
Yeah, it was McKinnon.
It was McKinnon. Nate McKinnon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Even P.A. Parento.
Yeah.
The Islander fans thought he got overpaid. He's actually doing well. Granted, he plays with Duchesne and Landeskog on the line. I mean, you go from Tavares to those two, it's not that difficult to play well.
Yeah.
They have a solid team. And the scary part is Milan. Oh, no, Jesus doesn't play for them anymore, right? Pretty sure he finally retired. But they also have Paul Stastny.
Yeah.
So that's the type of team that Edmonton should be watching. Them and the Islanders, possibly.
Yeah. I mean, we even saw with the Rangers. I mean, they drafted Lundqvist, and then they built around Lundqvist. They built from Lundqvist to defense to offense. They have one of the most elite goaltenders in the league, and they have one of the deepest defensive cores in the league, I feel. And now they're starting to get their offense figured out, which is a pleasant sight to see.
It is exciting. It's just about, I just think that hopefully that Cavett can be that guy, but the Rangers need that backup goalie. Especially in a year like this with the Olympics. You got to be able to keep Lundqvist in one piece.
Yeah.
And energy. And a lot of energy out of him. And make sure he's not exhausted come the postseason.
Yeah.
So I think actually coming out of the Olympic break is going to be huge for the Rangers this year because of the fact that Cavett will probably have to play.
Yeah.
At least the first week.
Because Lundqvist will just be dead tired.
Right. Lundqvist is basically, Sweden's a gold medal contender every year. Every 4 years.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. I mean, especially if they make it to the gold medal round. That's a lot of games to be playing. And then you have to come back and play in the NHL.
It's like what, 4 games, and then the medal round?
Yeah, there's good 6-7 solid games depending on whichever way you're looking at it. Because there's one friendly game before you start. Because there's one tune-up game.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
And what do you think? They'll send Tablet to the
AHL
for the Olympic break?
I can see that.
Or is he out of options?
Yeah. What do you mean? What do you mean after the?
For the Olympic break, do you send him back to the AHL and let him play?
Well, I mean, you got to think they would let him play in the NHL, right?
Well, during the Olympic break, when the NHL's off.
Excuse me, lost my train of thought. Yeah, I mean, I think to keep Talbot fresh, I mean, you got to send him down to the AHL. I think.
Let him play a little bit down there, because you think right before they may actually rest Lundqvist also.
Yeah.
You know, like get him the work in, because come mid-March you're basically going to want Lundqvist from that point on.
Yeah.
Except for maybe 1-2 games if you're depending on the spot you're in.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's your view on the Islanders?
I think after they lost 6-2 to Washington, right?
Yeah.
They didn't go to Washington. They skipped that game.
I mean, you saw it even against Washington. I mean, they have to get their defense figured out. I mean, their penalty kill was awful against Washington. They took too many penalties, and Washington made them pay. But I think the Islanders, they have a good goaltender in Nabokov. He's steady, and then obviously their offense is good. They got Vanek, Tavares, Okposo, and if they could just get their defense figured out, I think that they could be a good team.
I agree.
I 100% agree. And I read an article today. I'm pretty sure it was on Eyes, your father's site, that Kyle Oposo is playing so good right now that he might actually earn a spot on the USA Olympic team. That's how good he's been playing already so far this season. That would be pretty impressive because he was pretty much a long shot at USA training camp this year. Do you think he sneaks onto the team this year for USA?
I think obviously if he continues his hot play, I mean, I think USA's got to give him a look.
What do you think, Steve?
I think the way he's been playing, ever since Game 2 of the playoffs last year, when he literally took the Islanders and put them on his back, and won Game 2, and woke up that team, he's earned his spot. I thought at a camp he would have made it.
He's the first-round draft pick that all Islander fans and the Islanders were hoping to get out of him 5 years ago.
Right. No, more like 6 or 7 now.
Yeah, six years ago. But he was in the minor leagues for a little bit of time. But now,
wasn't. He was in college.
That's right.
He went to college, was there for a year and a half, then went to Bridgeport.
Okay.
So, unlike Bailey, who they just brought up right away.
Yeah. Well,
but you know what? Bailey's been arguably the best player on the team this season.
Yeah, he has been so far. Tavares hasn't gotten in his hot streak yet, but with Vanek, they're only going up after the highlights they had the other night on Saturday night. They just looked amazing Saturday night.
Yeah.
As awesome as shitty as they looked last night on Tuesday night, as how good they looked on Saturday night. So it's going to be one of those things. They have to fix the defense, like we've been mentioning the first month every episode, and tonight with AJ. It's got to be the defense, and I think Nabokov needs to chill out on the rebounds. I know defense needs to help him clearing it out, but sometimes it is too many rebounds every now and then, and he needs to control that a little bit more. That's my critique on him. Maybe get Poulin a little bit more, a couple more starts here and there, because he has earned his spot for getting a little bit more playing time. So hopefully he gets a little more starts coming in the near future. What do you think?
After the way he played against Boston, I will tell you this: last Friday, the Islanders played in someplace. Ottawa, and won.
Yes.
Coming back from down 2-0, won in a shootout, and nobody believed in them the next day. I thought they were going to get blown out by Boston.
Which they normally do.
Right. I mean, we had a game where we left after the second period.
Yeah, it was like 9-0. It was brutal.
So the fact that they came out and played their hearts out, granted it was against, who's their backup goalie, AJ? Who's Boston's backup goalie?
Boston's backup.
Something Johnson. Chad Johnson?
I think you might be right.
Granted, he's the one who started the game for the Bruins, but still.
Yeah, but still, I mean, Boston's one of the deepest teams in the East.
Boston's the team I compare to Iceland from the second Mighty Ducks movie. They're just bigger and stronger than everybody else. So when you look at them, that's what they're built for. They're built to win in the postseason, in my opinion. Because in the postseason, you need to be able to play hard. It's not about the talent. It's about playing hard and playing physical. And that's what Boston does. What's your view on that, AJ?
Well, I mean, obviously, Zdeno Chara on the blue line, it's very intimidating. But even at the forwards, they have deep players. I mean, they're just built to make a run every year in the playoffs. I mean, Brad Marchand, Milan Lucic, who throws his body a lot, Gregory Campbell, Patrice Bergeron, who in my opinion can be compared to Ryan Callahan with the way both of those players play.
I can see that.
But I mean,
Bergeron always gets hurt though.
Yeah,
Callahan.
Yeah, but he
both
doesn't have the head injuries like Bergeron. Bergeron's notorious for having head injuries and being out for an extended period of time. But when he does play, he's obviously like Ryan Callahan. Sacrifices everything he has. So yeah, you're absolutely right with that comparison.
I think the Rangers are lucky that Callahan doesn't have the concussion problems that Bergeron has.
It's true. Is Callahan wearing a C in Russia? I had to ask.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Is Callahan going to wear the C in Russia?
In Russia?
For the USA team.
The USA team. I think he will. I mean, who else can you give it to? I mean,
Suter.
Yeah.
Somebody said.
I just can't see them taking the C away from Callahan.
Before we let you go, there's somebody, I forgot who said it last night. Was watching the Sabres-Sharks game, and we won't get into the missed goal that the refs had in overtime that the Sharks should have won. Someone said something about Ryan Miller's been playing his way to be the starting goalie in Russia for USA.
For USA.
What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I think despite, and they mentioned it on NBC tonight about the Sabres, I mean, despite Buffalo's horrible play, Ryan Miller has looked really good this season. And I think that if he keeps it up, he could maybe take that starting spot for Team USA.
Okay.
If he keeps it up, though.
Blue Line Station has a radio show.
Yep.
Promote.
Blue Line Radio.
Blue Line Radio. That's a lot easier than Blue Line Station to remember.
Yeah. How often do you guys host shows?
We're on every Thursday night.
All right, so check it out every Thursday night. AJ, and who's your co-host?
Sean Taggart.
All right.
AJ and Sean, check it out. BlueLineStation.com, Blue Line Radio. Blue Line, just type in Blue Line.
And they're great reads, as always. If you want to be up to date with New York Rangers stuff, definitely find AJ. What's your Twitter handle so people could follow you? Because you're pretty good on with the play-by-play with Ranger games.
A_Grass24.
All right, awesome. All right, AJ. Thanks for coming on. I'll talk to you soon, all right?
Thanks, AJ.
Thanks, guys.
SND Podcast is no way affiliated with, associated with, produced, or endorsed by the National Hockey League or any of its affiliates.
Welcome back to episode 52 of the SND Podcast Show on the Schmuck Sports Network. Once again, that was Division 1.1 with Animal. Another great segment. Blue Line Station. Listen for Blue Line Radio every Thursday night from AJ. Make sure you follow them on Twitter.
It's amazing. I know you always say this, but he is a junior in high school. We were not definitely doing that as a junior in high school, worrying about sports and and school and work and chicks and everything else than being an editor for a blog. So definitely kudos to AJ. Keep up the hard and awesome work.
Yes.
So, and having a podcast on top of that, too.
It's actually a radio show. It's not even like
yeah.
I don't even think it is a podcast. I think it's an actual radio show.
Regardless.
Yeah. It's still awesome. It's
still awesome. And for a kid, a high school student, doing all that stuff, it's definitely commendable. And keep up the good work, AJ, as always. So, all right.
First off, before we even move forward,
house cleaning.
Congratulations
to the Boston Red Sox. They definitely earned it. They were the best team in the all year. I know I picked against them a bunch of times, but
none of us even had them in the playoffs, I think.
I know. It was just show factor, but they obviously deserved everything they got. That was a really awesome parade on Saturday when they went to the finish line of the Boston Marathon.
Oh, yeah.
And they put the World Series trophy on the finish line with the Boston Strong jersey, and it was really, really awesome. Just amazing to see how great that the city of Boston is overcoming that awful tragedy. So
this was that moment.
Yes.
You know, there's always that moment.
Yes.
Like think about back to 9/11.
Yeah,
Piazza's home run.
Absolutely.
This is their moment.
Absolutely, and it's great for them. They clinched the first time since 1918 in Fenway Park, so that actually added more juices to everything like that. So, congrats to the fans who actually are Red Sox fans.
I think the coolest part of the whole parade was the duck thing. How they did it on the duck boats.
Oh, that's nothing new.
That was the first time they did it.
No, they've always done duck boats. That's their thing.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
That's their tradition.
Oh, that's why I thought it was so cool, because that was the first time they did it.
No.
But it was cool because Jake Peavy actually bought his.
Yeah, that's the coolest thing.
He's going to do with it is that I don't know, but
just having his memorabilia. Yeah, I did that. I bought the duck boat that I went on the parade with to win the World Series. So I think that's pretty cool. You have the money, why not, right? So anyway, congratulations to them.
I wouldn't spend it on a duck boat. I don't know.
I would. It's just cool to say I bought the duck boat that I was on for the World Series championship parade in Boston.
Okay, well, yeah, that's one thing, but I don't know. Give me a picture on it. Call it a day.
Yeah, I know. He likes going fishing, I'm assuming. So.
I hope so.
All right.
What would you do if you just saw Jake Peavy driving around down the street in a duck boat?
Pretty awesome, actually. Hey, Jake, how's it going? You want to hop in the duck boat? Sure, why not? Kind of thing.
It would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Stop hating on the idea.
Anywho,
football picks for before we end the show. All right, I know we have to unfortunately pick this game since it is the Thursday night game. Yeah. The Minnesota Vikings or the Redskins. Neither team are
the NFC East champion Washington Redskins.
The very lackluster Redskins as of late. Will they show up against the even more lackluster Minnesota Vikings? Even though they've been playing better with Christian Ponder as of late.
You know that Christian Ponder is like top 3 in rushing touchdowns for quarterbacks?
I saw that.
Who would have thought that? Where is that game?
That is in Minnesota.
Oh, safe to say I am going with Washington.
Washington?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going Washington as well.
That one just that one. We've seen Minnesota play.
Yeah. I think Washington finally wakes up and RG3 finally has a good game.
I think RG3's due for that game.
Yeah.
And also the fact that they're on... Isn't it a 3-game winning streak, Washington?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they've been playing like complete dog shit. Anyway, they should come back unless AP decides to run wild on everybody. But I'm going with Redskins. Unfortunately, we have to pick the same team as always. All right, next game.
This one, I bet you we don't pick the same team. The battle for the NFC North.
I think
the Lions at the Bears.
I'm gonna go Lions. I think the Lions are gonna find a way to pull it out. They can get the running game going. They'll definitely beat the Chicago Bears, especially with their decimated defense right now. And Jay Cutler's supposed to be coming back this week. Honestly, he's gonna be good, but let's see how rusty he really is.
Right.
And we know how Jay Cutler can be very inconsistent, especially missing a few weeks. Definitely could be interesting to see, and the Detroit Lion defensive line can definitely get after any quarterback in any time of game. So it's going to definitely be interesting how they are going to be able to protect Jay Cutler, especially coming off an injury. So I'm going to go with the Lions on this one.
Okay, I'm actually going to take the Bears at home. I think that Forte can help produce, and even if Cutler doesn't play, I liked what I saw out of McCann on Monday night.
Yeah, he did play really well against the Packers on the road on Monday Night Football. Absolutely. But I don't know. I'll take Matt Stafford over McClellan and McNown any day of the week, obviously.
Well, yeah, but just the way that's just how I see this. Okay. Rematch of the NFC Championship game from NFC Divisional game last year. Seahawks-Falcons.
Seahawks obviously
in Atlanta.
As much as I want to say the Falcons, because they need to start waking up, the Seahawks are just on that. They're just a completely better team right now. Obviously, they're 8-1, and the Falcons are 2-6. That's a surprise, crappy team right there.
I'll tell you what, though, for that waffle pick to win the NFC South, my AFC South pick was really nice.
Yes.
To make the Colts, so
yeah,
it kind of evens out there for me.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Seahawks. They had a little scare a little bit because against the Buccaneers, but that was purely them overlooking them. They know that the Falcons are a decent team. Granted, their record does not show. They can sneak out a win if they don't take them seriously. So the Seahawks are going to find a way, play a complete effort. So I'm taking the Seahawks.
Seahawks are going to be motivated. They barely won last week.
That's what I mean. They're going to
barely beat Tampa Bay last year.
Yes.
Last week. I apologize. Tampa Bay. So I'm going to take Seattle as well in this game. Let's move north.
Okay.
The Bengals at Ravens. It's an intriguing matchup.
As much as I've been hating on the Bengals as of late, I think the Bengals are going to find a way to win after how angry they are after losing on a walk-off safety against Miami. They're definitely the better team, and they should have pulled out that win.
I can see that as well.
They're definitely, for some reason, I don't know what this Super Bowl hangover for the Ravens is just a Super Bowl hangover.
They lost their leader.
That I know they lost a bunch of their leaders, and I understand that, but you still have a lot of pieces left,
right?
And it's really surprising to see how quickly they fell off the face of the earth right now. I'm gonna go with the Bengals just because how much better they've been so far this season over the Ravens. Watch, this week will be the week the Ravens finally wake up and smack them around, but until they prove it to me, I'm going to pick the Bengals. So I'm going with the Bengals.
Yep. Got to go Bengals on this game. What's the next game you want to talk about?
I want to definitely talk about the Cowboys-Saints game. In New Orleans, that's going to be a fun Sunday nighter. I can't wait to watch that game. That's going to be a fun game. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, I'm definitely going to go with the Saints. Just that home field advantage on any primetime game is second to none. Maybe against Kansas City or maybe against Seattle, but they're definitely top 5 loudest stadiums in the world, especially on primetime football games. So I'm going to take New Orleans, just pure facts because of the home field advantage and how they lost last week to the Jets.
I don't see them losing 2 weeks in a row.
That too.
And we also need the Cowboys to start losing. So.
Yes. So we're both going to go Saints with that one. I just like the Saints.
I definitely like the Saints. But there is actually 2 college games we're going to talk about.
Okay.
All right. We don't usually talk
Hopefully
college football.
not Michigan because they suck.
So does Notre Dame. So
Notre Dame's better than Michigan.
We're both playing in the Who Gives a Hell Bowl.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter anyway. Actually, number 3 versus number 5. Oregon Ducks at Stanford Cardinals.
Stanford's going to pull out the upset. I was going to expect it, and Oregon normally finds a way to choke in a game every now and then, and I think Stanford's going to find a way. Is it in Stanford or no?
In Stanford.
I think Stanford's going to find a way to pull out the win.
10-point favorite is Oregon.
Wow. All right, I'm gonna find a way. Stanford's going to find a way to pull out the upset.
They have the quarterback in Oregon, Mariotto. I think he's the Heisman winner. So honestly. Quack, quack.
Quack, quack?
Quack, 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 quack.
What's the other game? Who's Alabama facing?
By the way, first off, 61 over under. Stanford, Oregon.
Under.
And this week is the Alabama-LSU matchup.
All right. Hopefully
1 versus 13. Keep this in mind. LSU, I believe, is 6-2 in their last 8 games in Alabama.
Yeah, no, they played really well,
including the 3-0 game.
Yeah, they've always played tough games. I'd love to say LSU, but Alabama's just gonna find a way to win. They're just that much better right now. It's going to be a close game, but Alabama's going to pull it out.
All right, I'm going to take LSU.
It's definitely going to be a defensive game, but Alabama finds a way to pull it out.
I think I'm going to take LSU this game.
Okay.
For some reason, I just have that gut feeling of Les Miles. He should never come pro, by the way.
Oh, he's not going pro. Don't worry.
Ever. Don't make the Saban mistake.
He would have went pro already. So don't worry about it.
That's just my opinion. 12.5, by the way.
Oh.
12.5 Bama. Yikes. Anywho, SNDPODCAST, schmucksports.com.
Instagram,
Facebook, Twitter. Heath is on a new site.
Okay.
Numbers Fire or something like that.
Okay.
Retweeted a couple things from him.
Yeah, definitely.
Had his first article this week, so make sure to check that out. I think it was Numbers Fire.
Sure.
Sounds about right. Yeah. Numberfire.com.
Okay. Definitely,
all right.
Definitely a good read.
Check it out. Keith is on it.
Keith's
our good friend Keith.
Writer.
Schmuck Sports is on it, so check that out. I do know who he's pulling for Sunday at MetLife Stadium.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully
he will be there with me.
Yeah.
So hopefully he'll have a very upsetting car ride home, so I don't have to listen to him. But we love him anyway. Division 1.1, check them out. Eyes on Isles, check them out. They have a new Dump and Chase podcast with Islander beat writer Arthur Staple from Newsday coming out this week.
Listen to us before you listen to them because they actually recording tonight as well. So love you guys, but not that much. Anyway,
listen to both of us.
You got plenty of time at work.
Exactly. Especially those on the commutes to the train and stuff.
Yes.
BlueLineStation.com. Check out all their work.
As always, thank you to AJ coming on.
Yes, of course. But another great week in the books then.
Yep. See you next week.
See you next week for episode 53. Here's a little more Division 1.1.